cooperation with the City of Eau Claire. This program is simulcast on WRFP-LP 101.9 FM.
Okay, so let's call the meeting to order. It's 7:35 by the clock here in the council chambers. The Eau Claire Redevelopment Authority. First order roll call and call to order. So I'm here. Could everybody else just let us know they're here? And it's all needs to be on mute, I think. Yeah, Catherine, we start with you just in alphabetical order.
Catherine is here.
Okay, awesome. Connie?
Connie is here.
Good morning, everybody. Rick? Okay, Rick is not here.
Wayne is here.
Okay, awesome. Dale?
Dale is here.
Okay. I think what we call roll call for staff, right? Yeah. Looks like Jason, Jay, and Josh, and Sarah, and Scott are all here too, so morning to you guys too. Hope everybody's doing well. All right, first order for business is the minutes from the meeting of February 19th. Everybody should have been distributed copies of the minutes from the last time. Any errors, corrections, or changes that need to be made?
This is Dale. I'd move the minutes.
Okay, minutes have been moved. Can I get a second?
Connie second.
Connie is seconded. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, let's look to vote to approve the minutes. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'm hearing that we'll consider those. Item up is the financial statement.
You want to unmute Jason?
Yeah.
Jason, if you wanted to go over those?
You should be good
Yep.
to go, Jay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So attached to the agenda is the RDA budget and actuals report from April of this year. This report presents year-to-date budgeted and actual expenditures in the operating budget and actual expenditures in the capital budget. Revenues, expenditures, and other funding sources are reported once they are realized. As of April 30th, 2020, fiscal year 2020, the RDA operating expenditures total $918, all from stormwater charges for 2000 Oxford Avenue.
Okay, very good. Any other items to report, Jason?
Nope.
Okay, very good. Any comments on the financial statement? Questions on the financial statement? Okay, I'm hearing none. The city council and report of RDA. Got the financial statement. Appreciate support. All right, I look for a motion to approve the
This is Wayne. I'd move approval.
Okay, Wayne's moved. Can I get a second?
Second, Catherine.
Okay, Catherine has seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, for a few ayes, so I'll give it a second here, and all right, sounds good. Let's call it approved. Financial statements have been approved. Item 4 is an update on the Cannery District project, the Kessler Bowl and the Cannery Trail resident. Sure.
Thank you, everybody. This is Aaron. Appreciate your attendance this morning. The agenda is pretty light. It's informative in nature, but we felt it had been a while since we met, that it was worth getting together as a group virtually, just to kind of go over where we are, highlighting a few things and see if there are any questions about what's going on in terms of RDA activities. So, relation to the Cannery District, First thing I want to mention, if you've been down that way, you've noticed there is some demolition equipment or construction equipment staging over just behind Black Hills Tax Service and those buildings there in that area. The demolition is scheduled. We'll be moving forward for the remaining buildings on the RDA property along that stretch. That will be starting, if it hasn't started already, it'll be starting about any day now. The contractor was selected through the bid process, and we're moving forward getting the last of the buildings that we own taken down and ready for redevelopment. Wanted to call out a couple of specific projects that we've brought to the board in the past that are working on. The first would be the Kessler Bowl. That's that empty lot north of Kessler Park. We are working with Big Grips, as Jason Grippentrog and his group, to do the townhouse project that we brought to the board here, I guess back in December. We're working on an MOU to kind of move that process forward. We have there's been a couple of reiterations on site layout, but it's still pretty well the same project and concept we've been looking at all along. Obviously, things related to COVID have slowed down a little bit. We originally were moving at a much faster pace, but with everything else that's going on, we dropped down a gear a little bit, but we're still moving forward that project. We're still working with the developer to get the MOU and then the purchase agreement in place, and we will continue to do so. Any questions on that project? Okay, doesn't sound like it. The next kind of one I wanted to bring up quickly was the Cannery Trails residence. This is Tyler Warner's project that came before the board over a year ago. Just wanted to update the RDA that Tyler did receive his round of low-income housing tax credits during this last fiscal round. They were awarded here just a couple, 3 weeks ago. So his phase 2 will be low-income housing tax credit-based housing. That will be the income restricted, rent restricted housing. We're very excited to see that happen. By our calculations, that's the first award that the city of Eau Claire has received in about 10 years for LIHTC. So I'm really excited about seeing that project go forward as a LIHTC project the way it was presented. It does mean that he is eligible to receive his full amount of TIF that was committed to on the front end that had certain stipulations as if the LIHTC was awarded, which it was. So he'll be able to access the full amount of TIF money that was allocated. But good to see that project moving. It's opening for the first phase. Tyler tells me they pushed back about a month, so they're expecting to see folks moving into the facility sometime in August. The delay was actually not so much from the construction company side. They said with things going on in the logistics chain, supplies for building supplies have been a little slow getting to the site, and that has shifted their schedule back some. But they have a leasing agent in place, and I believe they have a website and contacts, and they said they have a list of about 100 people so far have reached out to them with interest in the apartments. So getting good interest and really excited to see that project is kicking off. Anybody have any questions in regards to that?
Hi there, this is Catherine. I have to say, I was so excited to see that LIHTC come through. I mean, of course, everybody's crossing every appendage and then knows that the likelihood of getting awarded was so slim. Do you have any ideas or thoughts or reflections of why it was successful and anything we might be able to learn from that in the future?
It was a solid project to start with. We green scored that with him prior to their submission of their application. Scored very well, and ultimately it was awarded some points that we didn't expect it to be awarded. So it did very well in the scoring matrix. I think the discussions that we've had with WEDA from the community side, WHEDA, helped the understanding that housing is a critical piece in Eau Claire, and we had not received any of the LIHTC applications in quite some time. I think it helped to kind of reinforce the idea with WHEDA that we need to see an award come through. We were invited to participate in some polling and surveying, Scott Allen and I, in regards to how they're going to be adjusting the scoring matrix for next year's award. So we passed on some of our thoughts and concerns from a community this size and things we'd like to see happen. We particularly like WEDA to consider more strongly the use of mixed-use development within LIHTC projects. Their current scoring matrix kind of discourages mixed use, and from a planning standpoint and from a use standpoint, it's a lot more preferable to have a potential employer on the ground floor of a housing that has LIHTC applications, or a grocery store, or an amenity that the residents of the unit could utilize. So we both put that forward as a suggestion that we'd like to see come up in the next round of scoring. But we'll probably continue to analyze what went well, and as we move forward, we're hoping we can start seeing some more of these LIHTC awards coming through for the community. We know we have at least 2 that I'm aware of that will be applying this next round in December as well.
That's wonderful. Catherine, do you have anything else?
I was just going to say that's outstanding. Thank you.
Very, very good. Any other thoughts or questions on this item?
I'd probably just add, in general, we are still seeing some good interest in the Cannery District as a whole. It obviously slowed down a little bit over the last 3 months with uncertainty in the economy, but we had 3 other projects or 3 other developments that are looking at different spaces within the Cannery District showing strong interest. And once we see things settle back down closer to a normal operating environment, I think we expect to see some of those projects come back and start working forward on developing some additional space down there.
Yeah, that's really, really nice to see the construction we have going on the group. Great. All right, thanks so much. Anything else on that item, on the update on the Cannery? I'm not hearing anything, so I'm going to move on to the next item, which is update on the liner site project. Aaron?
Yeah, so we have been in contact with both the developers for the liner site, looking to see where they're at in their project. The first one I'll address with is Monarch Ventures. So Monarch is the one project that was looking to do restaurant ground floor and then 2 floors of office space. Prior to the COVID-19 outbreak and the Safer at Home release in Wisconsin, they had 3 candidates, 3 companies looking at the office space were showing interest, and they felt were pretty good interest. That's kind of moved to the back burner on the office space since COVID came out and the Safer at Home is in place. Leasing up at least 1 floor of the office space was kind of a key step for them to move forward on scheduling up their construction. Obviously, the restaurant on the ground floor was definitely impacted. They are a restaurant group at heart and have 8 restaurants, and 6 of those were impacted by shutdowns in Wisconsin, Minnesota. So they're still looking to move forward with it, but it has delayed their project some. We went ahead and amended the MOU and did a 180-day extension to give them some more time to kind of work through their normal business segment numbers and issues as they also move forward on trying to do this new construction. They're very thankful for that. They still have a keen interest in here. They still see this as a market they want to be in, and they feel like the 180 days extension on the MOU would be sufficient to kind of help them move them forward and see where they need to be. We already had a first draft of the development agreement and purchase agreement in front of them, and had met with them. City Attorney Steve Nick and I had met with the owner group and had talked about potential revisions, etc. So the process moving forward, we're just going to be looking to take a little more time. This is likely to see, probably won't see a fall groundbreaking the way they initially anticipated. That could happen. We'll likely see that pushed on to more of an early 2021 type of groundbreaking. The other project, the Children's Museum, we've spoken with them as well. They are, at this point, moving forward on their project. They have approved, their board has approved the final design for the site, and we are currently drafting out the develop and purchase agreement for them as well. So they're still moving forward with the full intent on developing the project as they had planned. Again, with timing, it could shift their construction schedule back some. So we will likely see some shifting of dates that were originally going to be placed into the development agreement. But for all intents and purposes, both projects still plan on moving forward. So see if there are any questions regarding the liner site.
I'm not seeing any questions. Good to see that everybody's sort of staying on the line, as it were. Great. Really good. Next item then is update on Block 7. Yeah, here.
Absolutely. So Block 7, we had met and spoken with a couple of different consulting firms to look at who can do some modeling for us on that site to see a more efficient way to do the development of mixed-use development within that location, concerning the struggles that we had and trying to get away from the underground parking. This is just kind of a refresher from our last meeting discussion on this. We have one proposal that we are moving forward with that fits within the budget parameters that the board set. So Ayers Associates will be working with us on this project. We're really excited about that. Their team is excited about the project as well. We've had some early discussions early on as we were kind of going through this process and talking about concepts and ideas, and I think there's some real opportunity to figure out a better, more efficient way to utilize that space and still make it really suitable for what we want to do and achieve the benchmarks for development that we're looking for. On a side note, I'll probably also mention too, we're seeing a few inquiries about maybe utilizing that space to potentially do something as the safer home restrictions loosen up and the social distancing starts to loosen up. Having that space empty may provide an opportunity to do some venues in the downtown area to kind of welcome people back to the downtown. So we've had a couple of groups have approached us about the potential to utilize a portion of the parking lot. So I think we'll make a little use of Block 7 this fall, hopefully, or later in the year as we start welcoming folks in greater numbers back to the downtown as things start returning to normal. So with that, see if there are any questions regarding Block 7.
Again, I'm not seeing anything. Thanks again, Aaron, for the updates. I really missed having everybody here. I'm going to chime in out of order, but it's just Aaron and I standing here in the council chambers by ourselves. So it's a little strange. Hopefully we'll be back to normal here soon. Item 7 then is the executive director's report.
Thank you. One of the things we are looking to do, this is just kind of a general statement that we're doing, is we've got some good feedback from folks that have shown the website to our landing page that identifies the cannery district. So I think that process of marketing land is going to work well. And we're excited about the ability to kind of promote space and available space without necessarily having to go through the RFP process. We're hoping it will open up some creative avenues for some of these developers who might be looking for development opportunities in the downtown area. There's a few of the regions we're looking at. There's some projects that we hopefully will be able to bring before the RDA down the road as we move forward, some areas that we think that are adjacent to some of our existing development regions that have some blighted properties we'd like to take a look at. So there'll be more news and some exciting news coming down in that aspect. Also at this point in time, is Mary on the call? Okay, well, I was hoping she was going to be able to log in. Oh, okay. So at this point, Mary, if you'd like to take it over, I'd like to turn you over for you to make your announcement.
Mary, are you there? You're on my list here, people who are here. Let me try it. Let me just make sure you're good to go here.
Barry?
Apparently not. I'll go ahead and handle this piece then. Mary was selected to fill a seat on the Planning Commission recently, which she accepted, which we're very excited for her on that. It does mean that she cannot serve on two boards or two committees this type at the same time. So Mary has formally stepping down from the RDA. It's effective tomorrow, so she can then transition over to the Planning Commission. We appreciate the passion and the effort and the work that she brought to this organization over the past year, and excited to see her getting involved in the Planning Commission.
Yes, thank you for your service. I appreciate your contributions here to the RDA. Good to have you here. Sorry we're losing you, but I'm sure the Planning Commission will benefit from your expertise. The last item then is announcements and correspondence. Any fan mail?
Nothing in the last few months, surprisingly.
Quiet. All right, well, we'll wrap it up, I guess, but I want to say thanks to everybody for participating this morning. These are difficult times. Stay safe out there and just keep hanging on there. It looks like everybody else is on pause, and so hopefully we'll be through this before long, and we'll get back to better times. I look forward to seeing you all here again in the council chambers. All my years of city stuff, I've never seen council chambers looking like this. There's a lot of echoing here. All right, take care, everybody. It's 7:56. Look for a motion to adjourn. Move to adjourn.
So moved. This is Wayne.
Second by Catherine.
Second by Catherine. All those in favor? All those in favor? Adjourn.
Aye.
Aye.
I believe we're adjourned. 7. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
You too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
This program was brought to you by a cooperation between Newsworks and the City of Eau Claire. A transcript of this meeting is available for the hearing impaired. It will be available within 7 days of this telecast. Call 715-839-4912 or TDD 715-839-1689 or write Eau Claire City Clerk, P.O. Box 5148, Eau Claire, Wisconsin 54702-5148. Newsworks is made possible by continuing community support. If you would like to volunteer or make a donation, please contact us via phone at 715